I'm Bobby Collins from Coconut Point Ford in Estero, Florida, and I'm here to teach you a little bit of something, that I hope that everybody knows, that you probably were trained in the car business wrong. Okay, I know what you're saying. Wait a minute, I know everything about the car business, but you're right. Even I was trained in the car business wrong. I'm going to teach you kind of a new way. Some of you people might be on a Foursquare, some people not. It's your selling system, but just like David always says, you got to at least have a system. But I'm going to show you a system that we took over a dealership and we changed the average growth from $2,200 to bring you over $4,000. I know that's where everybody wants to be. Of course, you'll probably be happy with $3,000, but I want to start at the beginning. And this is what you've got to tell your people and your salespeople and your sales managers. And if you're a sales manager watching this, you've got to bring this down to your people. We, even me included, we ask the dumbest questions to our customers every day. There's customers all over, there's salespeople all over the United States. They're going to walk up to a customer and they're going to ask them a dumb question. They're going to ask them, how much do you want for your trade? Think about that now for a second. That's the way I was trained. How much do you want for your trade? Now, what do you think they're going to tell you? You're going to tell their low number, or they're going to tell you the high number? What would you tell them if somebody asked you that? Of course, they're going to tell you the high number. Now you're stuck with that forever, and you're going to be stuck with that the whole time in negotiating the deal. Another stupid question that we, as salespeople, ask is, how much money do you want to put down? Really? How much money do you want to put down? You're going to say zero 99.9% of the time. Okay? The customers are definitely not going to tell you how much money they definitely have. They're always going to be on the low side. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that totally out of your vocabulary and your sales staff vocabulary. We're going to take it totally out of there. Another dumb question we ask them, and listen to this one. Where do you want your payments to be? That's the number one, right? Where do you want your payments to be? Think about that. Now, do you think they're going to tell you the high number, or are you going to take the low number? You put all that together, that's your gross. Okay? So if you can get the customer to starting, because for years, we as salespeople, we went out there and what we did was we asked those dumb questions. We asked how much you want for your trade, how much money you want to put down, and where do you want your payments to be? We took that as a commitment, took it to our desk, and we worked tooth and nail to try to come to those numbers. Sacrifice gross, we stretched the term out, we did a lot of different things, and maybe somewhere in the middle, if there was still a deal left, we sold a car, but there's probably about that much gross left. Okay? Let me explain what I'm talking about. Real quick. First, you've got to understand on a Foursquare system, there is 4 parts of car deal. Okay? There's the trade, there's the price, there's cash down, and there's payment. Where we make a mistake every day as car salespeople, where we lose a deal, is we try to work all 4 of these at the same time. Okay? Ask them how much they want for the trade, where you want your money to be down at, and where you want your payments at. Now imagine this, if you will. How about we just did it a little differently? Same Foursquare, same format as this. But we're going to do one thing. We're still going to do the 10 steps. And I know everybody has 10 steps, and they're basically about the same. Enthusiastic meeting, greeting, not investigate. You're going to, the whole 9 yards. So what you want to do, once you've landed on a car and you've got a qualified buyer, and of course you've asked the questions, if I can get all the figures agreeable, I can earn your business today. And they said yes, so you're at this point. One of the key thing is we have to walk the trade. The salesperson has to walk that trade so we know every imperfection on that trade. How many times do you think car salesmen have looked at you and told you to put more money in a trade and they hadn't even seen the car? All right, or even it had doors on it. Think about it. So what we do with the Foursquare system, we isolate each one of these and we start at one item. It's going to be the trade. So let's just imagine we've got barbed wire on this. We're not going to go no further than steel. Now, on the price side, let's say in this example that we have a $35,000 vehicle. And another thing is, let's just say there's a $5,000 rebate. This is a nice Ford truck right here. I'm not going to even use the word rebate. I'm going to use the word off. Because customers are geared and they really believe that rebates are free money. We all know that's not free money. Okay? So we're going to tell you, so I've got a $30,000 car. Now the salesman did his job right and walked the trade. He touched every imperfection on this car. Didn't belittle the car whatsoever. He was acting like he's appraising the car. What he's doing, he's gathering information for us to make an intelligent decision with the VIN number, the miles, condition of the car, and once again, every imperfection on that car. It's kind of like parents with ugly kids. They don't see them ugly anymore. Go to Walmart sometimes. They think their kids look great. That customer's got that car for about 7 years. He forgot that he hit the corner of the garage 2 years ago. He's used to seeing that dent every day. He thinks he has a perfect car. What the salesman's got to do is go out and maybe even touch it. And therefore he goes, oh yeah, because everybody has a pre-notion of what they basically want for their car when they come to the lot. Even if you did ask them, what do you want for your trade? I don't know, you tell me. In the back of their mind, they think they know. Now, what we're going to do after he did that, we're going to look at the local dealer auction report. We're going to look in Manheim. We're going to look at, and we're in Florida, so we're going to go in Southeast, and we're going to look at the MMR on these cars. Because for the first time ever, how would you like to start your deal at wholesale, where you should be, what you're going to be bringing the car in, instead? We've got to put the customers back on the planet of reality, and this is how we do it. We're going to give them 3 good examples, real numbers, really out of it. Everybody got the software now with MMR. We're going to take, let's say this guy had an 05 F-150. I'm going to put this over here, 05 F-150. And let's just say this vehicle had 68,321. Please do me a favor. Quit telling people it's got 68,000 miles on it. Make the customer know that it has 68,321. We want them to feel every bump in the road. All right, we're going to give them a couple examples here. Let's say an 05 F-150. I'm going to look on the MMR and find one with about half that miles. That's what I'm looking for. So let's say in this case, we found one with 31,000 miles. And when it's our car, we want to do 31K. Okay, you get the point. All right, so let's just say this vehicle brought $5,000. Here's another F-150 here, just like his car, but a little bit, we always try to get a little bit less miles than his, like 61K. And let's just say it brought 3. And we're using some fictitious numbers right now, just as an illustration. And let's have another one with more miles than his, and let's just say it brought that. Now, the salespeople are geared to go back to the customer and say, it's word tracked, and say, hey, listen, they haven't had a chance to look at your car, but we're next. But we did have an opportunity to have the assistant used car manager go ahead and look at the local dealer auction report and see about what your car's bringing on the open market. We're in luck we had 3 good examples. They're always taught to start at the bottom to put this person in place. You got an 05 F-150 here with 80,000 miles, a little bit more than yours, and it brought $1,500. Don't worry, it gets better. Got an 05 F-150 here with 61,000 miles, still a little less than yours, and it brought $3,000. And I've also got an 05 F-150 here with only 31,000 miles, half your mileage, and it brought $5,000. Don't worry, I'm going to work really hard to try to get you the higher number. They're taught to pause, and they're going to get a reaction out of the customer. Think about this. If a guy's driving in with this 05 F-150 with 68,000 miles, probably got on the internet, saw what these fictitious numbers are, and then he probably said, you know what, my truck's worth $7,000. I'm going to get $7,000 for it. Well, if the salesman did his job right and walked around the trade and touched those bad spots on the car, now subliminally he's probably thinking, well, man, maybe 65, and maybe even 6. But once you show him this, real numbers, real live, local dealer auction reports, now he's thinking a little less of his car. Now, obviously, he's not going to want the $3,000 for his car. He's probably going to want $5,000, or even back to his 6. But what we're going to do, if we have a reaction, like, hell no, go to hell, get my keys, well, we're going to say, well, listen, how close to this can you come? For the first time ever, for a lot of you, this is the first time the customer is going to have to move towards our numbers instead of the other way around. So what we're doing here, I'm trying to put them on the spot and tell them exactly, these are real numbers, folks. This is MMR from the auction. We should not be afraid to share this with a customer. This is real. This is kind of like your real estate broker going out and trying to sell your house. Of course, you'd love $800,000 for it, but basically what they do, or she does, or he does, is show you the market value. We've all been there. We want this, but reality is here. This is how you're going to save some gross. Once again, remember, I'm not going past this trade. This price doesn't mean anything. Cash down payment doesn't mean anything until we both agree on what this trade's worth. And let's just say this customer gave us a little bit of, hey, I don't know, I wanted this. Kelly says this, and we have to explain to him. Strictly just a guide. But this is real world. This is just what cars like yours, not necessarily your car, but cars like yours just brought this last week. So instead, they're taught to do this. Once they agree to a number, even if it's not that, even if it's still the 7, they take that number and circle it. Once you've got a circled number, the next words out of the salespeople's mouth is, most banks like to see at least 20% down. In this case, we got a $30,000 car, so you're going to write $6,000. Are you planning to put 6 or more? Once again, we've got that customer going, oh my gosh, $6,000? Work with me here. I was just going to use my trade. Well, they're taught, hey, well, you know what? That's a trade equity, but the bank also like to see cash for me to get you the best possible deal. Well, how close to this can you come? Hey, listen, I got no money. That's usually the number that we get from the customers. I have no money. Okay. They're taught to do this. And just in case they missed it, we ask them this one question. A, B, C, and D. A being the best, D being the worst, pause. How would you rate your credit? And don't say a word. All of a sudden, you're going to hear boom, 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 boom. And they're also taught if they say C or D, we don't go any further. We simply go get a customer statement. I like calling a credit app a customer statement. Just think about it. Credit app. That sounds bad. It sounds like you're cussing at them. Customer statement. We also like to say, if they say they have bad credit, we say, hey, it's probably not as bad as you think. I know we can help. Let's get a customer statement and get you qualified. That makes the customer feel more like a human being. Because trust me, folks, you got to get into the subprime market and treat these people right, because bad things happen to some great people. If you treat them right, they'll remember it. And then as they go show their new car to somebody, they'll tell everybody where they got it. And they'll also come back and see you, because I promise you this, 50% of the people that have bad credit now won't have bad credit forever. So you got to remember that. This is your future. But we're going to ask this customer A, B, C, or D, how would you rate your credit? We're going to pause, let them answer. And then what's going to happen is, hopefully they said, hey, I got great credit. Great. Because in the state of Florida, most banks at least like to see you put your tax and fees down. And what we do with the state of Florida, it's 6%, but of course we've got tags and we've got doc fees and everything else. So good rule of thumb is 10%. In this case, it's only going to be $3,000. You can at least do that, can't you? Of course, they're probably not going to have it. We're going to ask them one more time. How close can you come? Once again, see what's happening now? Customers moving towards our numbers instead of the old way of doing it. We're trying to reach toward their numbers. So it's a lot different. So you're pounding on here trying to get the $3,000 cash. All you're doing is, but I've never asked them what they'd like to put down. I'm sharing what they probably should put down. Okay? Still, let's say this customer says, listen, I got no money. I got no money. I just want to use my trade. I said, so you can't come close to this at all? No, I can't come. I can't. Well, let me ask you this. What you're trying to do, you remember Columbo? I mean, Columbo, he always knew you did it. Do you remember? There's some older guys out there remember Columbo. He always knew you did it. That Columbo show, he goes, oh, let me see. You don't want to put no money down. The Columbo version. Okay, so here we go. Say, let me ask you this. You want to do what we call in the business 100% financing. Is that correct, Mr. Customer? And they're probably going to say yes. So you're going to want to finance your taxes too, so you don't mind a little higher payment, do you? The customers, 80% of the time, will say, well, how high? Well, what they just say to you, I will go more than what I probably planned on going. So what we also do, and let's just say in this case, maybe they come up with $1,000. I promise you this. If that same salesperson asks that same customer, how much money do you want to put down? What do you think the answer is going to be? 0. But this way, you at least fished out maybe $1,000. And the rest of this is just like this. Remember, $5,000 on this, $1,000 here. Add your taxes in. This is simple, and this is what you teach your salespeople to do, and they come up to the desk with a commitment already. So now they're sitting there with, and they're just do the math and don't talk to the customer, and do exactly what the numbers are, minus the trade, minus the cash down, and times it by 3, which would be a short-term payment. Okay? We didn't ask you what you wanted to pay. We're going to tell you, because we love to put all of our customers on short-term payments so they come back and see us sooner, right? So we times it by 3, and in this case, Mr. Customer, it looks like it's going to be right at $810. They're taught to pause and don't blink. I know it's to ask somebody for $810, but this works, trust me. Come and say, oh my God, I can't pay $810. Well, let me go back. You can always go back and forth on cash down and the payment. Remember you gave me no money down, and you said you wouldn't mind a little higher payment? Customers are probably going to say, well, yeah, but not that high. Well, let me ask you, how close to $810 can you come? And the best way I've saw to get little small increments, customers probably going to come up with a number and say, look, I want to be around 5. Up to, they're going to say another number. But you definitely wanted to keep it under 6, correct? And then hopefully you're going to settle somewhere in that number. Salesmen are geared to right customer will buy now. We don't want to be next week. With trade. Only, no matter if you didn't get the 6, it's always only $1,000 cash at, let's just say we got $550-ish. I like the word ish. There's another $9 there, okay? Because we want our unfair share, right? So you're going to do that, and they got to plant that seed and do the 2-step. I don't know if my boss will take us. Well, let me go try. But you will buy the car if I get it worked out with only your trade, and keep it around $550 a month. We need to stretch that term out a little bit. But if we do this, we have a car deal right now, right? Right. Think about this, guys, managers. Think about this. Here, and here we negotiate. There's one thing I really never ever played with, and I'm telling you this works, is the price. So if you want to get your grosses, out of the toilet and off that $2,000 and get it up into the 3 and 5, because gross is not a dirty word. Gross is a state of mind. I'm Bobby Collins. Till the next time. See you later.
Get smart.